You're listening to Misadventures with Tea, where things get hot, steamy, and a little bit creamy. I'm your host, Joseph, and we're here to explore all things tea. So sit back, grab your mugs, and get cozy while we spill the tea on tea. Hello, my tea listeners and fellow tea connoisseurs, tea lovers, lovers of all things tea. I'm your host, Joseph. I'm here just to kind of recap a little bit of the history, if anything, maybe provide a more revamped / revised version of the history, because I feel like I kind of rambled on and probably got lost in the previous episode. Anyways, so with Lapsang Souchong, there was two versions of where the tea originated, but basically it is referred to as the ancestor of black tea that was produced in Tongmu Guan in Wuyi Mountain, which is the Fujian province in Southeast Asia. During the 16th century, around this time, the emperor of the Ming Dynasty promoted the use of whole leaf tea instead of compressed tea. And basically the tea processing skills at the time were still rather rudimentary or basic, if you will. And most teas were pan-fried green tea. So the technique of oxidizing tea leaves, which, fun fact, is a key feature of black tea, was a result of serendipity. Now, that's just like a little brief background, but here's the actual story, or the lore, if you will, as to how Lapsang Souchong came to fruition. Legend has it that one spring day in the mid 1600s, a military troop passed by a tea farming village in Wuyi Mountain and decided to camp overnight at a tea farmer's house. The tea farmer had finished his morning harvest of fresh tea leaves when the troop arrived, so when he saw the soldiers, he got scared and ran to a nearby mountain. The next morning, when the tea farmer returned to his house, he noticed that his tea leaves had turned brown. Desperately trying to salvage the leaves, he pan-fried the leaves and then smoked them with pine wood to darken the color of the leaves. Now, if you're kind of wondering why he had to salvage the leaves, it was basically to, sell them off into markets. Like, that's from various renditions is what I was getting. Now, that's one version of the story. The next version is a little bit different. Actually, I should mention that the first version was I sourced it from Bana Tea Company, and this next version is from True Tea Company. And what they said is that it's believed that the Lapsang Souchong was discovered by accident when an army had passed through a village and camped out a tea factory full of unprocessed tea leaves. The army's occupation stopped the tea workers from carrying out the drying process, so when the army left, the workers were due to take the tea to market. But there wasn't enough time for the leaves to properly dry, so in order to speed up the process, they placed the tea leaves into bamboo baskets and dried them over pine wood fires. So there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed and learned a little bit about the history of Lapsang Souchong. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the episode. I'm going to move my water closer so I can, in case for whatever reason I feel dehydrated.
That's what we have the tea for.
Exactly. Just in case. Okay, so welcome everyone to another episode of Misadventures with Tea. I am your host, Joseph, and today I am here with a very good friend of mine. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Holly. I just want to say hi, friend, because that's how we greet each other all the time.
Hi, friend.
We work together, and we just have fun, and we go on our daily outings.
Yeah.
Down to get my Fiji water, because I'm a Fiji water addict.
We love that.
We love that.
It's a great way to stay hydrated.
Totally. I get it 1.5 liters, so it just keeps me accountable.
Okay, so basically how we're gonna go this, if you've listened to my previous podcast, I don't mean like you specifically, I'm talking to the audience. The structure of it so far is like, we're gonna start with a little tea tasting based on your preferences. I know I've asked you prior to what you preferred.
Yes.
And you said you were quite open to trying like different things.
Yes.
So I got an interesting tea that I feel like you would enjoy. So I'm gonna ask for your input as to like what it smells like, what it tastes like, where you see yourself kind of like drinking this and like in what kind of setting, like if it would be a morning, afternoon, even an evening tea. And yeah, go from there. And then after that, I'll ask you a little bit more about you, and yeah, we'll just shoot the shit.
Shoot the shit. All right.
All right, so let's grab, let's start our little clinks.
ASMR action.
ASMR. So first smell. I'm not gonna lie, my nose is fucked, so I don't know if I can smell it.
I was gonna say, I feel like my nose isn't great, but
Let's see.
I feel like it's just us trying to sniff this tea. I think both you and I have said that both our sense of smell suck.
Yes. You know what? Why don't I do what I normally do to kind of better? Pull my nose back.
Okay. I don't think it helped.
No.
Okay.
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 If it doesn't help, it's fine. We'll just go straight to the taste.
Yeah, I feel like I don't really smell much. It is giving a little bit of green tea. Not
Okay.
gonna lie.
Okay, that's good.
Shall we sip?
We shall sip. Little ASMR action.
Oh my god! That's our biggest fear. To go out your nose.
Oh my god, no, I was just trying to do it. Okay, this is clearly not cutting it. I'm not doing it. ASMR screen.
Oh, you committed to that bit.
I
You
really
did that
tried.
thing. I'm literally crying of laughter right now. You really committed to that ASMR. Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna go straight drinking.
Let's drink it.
Yeah, okay. Are you tasting much?
Like, it's a really light jasmine,
Mm-hmm.
green tea, clean taste, I think.
Don't worry, I'll reveal it to you soon.
Am I getting anything from it? No. I wouldn't say it's super like powerful. It's like
Yeah.
a very light
Mm-hmm.
flavor of tea.
Yeah, yeah.
But I am getting like jasmine, green tea.
Okay. Well, I will reveal the tea now.
Okay.
So this tea is actually Jasmine Oolong.
Oh, okay.
So it is definitely like a light flavored tea, I would say. It's you're gonna taste mostly the jasmine because there's gonna be like an essence of it.
Yes.
But it is going to be more on the lighter side, as most jasmines and oolong teas I tend to find tend to be. They are more on the lighter side of things. In particular, actually, this one is a local.
Ooh.
It is from a place called Specials Tea Inc. in Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, actually, okay, so here's a little tidbit. I was concerned if you tasted or smelled anything because I got this when I first moved to BC.
Oh.
So it's been sitting.
How many years?
Okay, maybe longer. Like
Is she stale?
2 years and a little bit more than that. So it's some time that it's been sitting in my pantry. It's still like you can still get the taste and this like aroma of it, but I feel like it's not as strong as when it was first bought.
Yeah.
But that being said, tea can last quite a bit. So,
That's true.
you know what? Maybe
We should smell it from the bag.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
maybe you might get a better sense from there. At least you already know what it is, but maybe you can provide a better description.
Like right off the bat, I knew it was giving jasmine tea.
Yeah.
I do not like the smell of the bag. It smells dirty. And I can't tell it's because it's been sitting in your pantry.
So from the first episode where like the tea smelled like hay.
Yes.
We are now moving to the tea smelling dirty. Okay, fair.
Like dusty.
Don't expose me. Anyways, okay. So yes, it's a Jasmine Oolong Tea,
Mm-hmm.
local, got it from here in BC. In case anyone who's listening to this podcast is not familiar with the geography of like the BC area, or rather Vancouver area, Victoria is an island just outside that you can access by ferry. I mean, you can even access it by plane, right?
I think so. Like, yeah, like
Yeah.
a seaplane.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's expensive. Actually,
Mm-mm.
either way is expensive.
No, exactly.
So, I don't visit often, but very nice, quiet city. It's very cute. I love it. Now, the other thing I wanted to kind of mention about this tea, did you know it is considered more of an oolong rather than a jasmine?
Okay, so what's an oolong? I hear it all the time. I don't know what an oolong is.
Oh my god, you would think I'd know this.
Put you on the spot.
Put me on the Well, I know it's another branch of tea. Like, it's like, I would say that one of like the categories of tea, because like, I would say there's like about 5 different ones. I could be wrong. Something tells me 5, something tells me 7, and then next thing you know, it's only 3.
Whatever your heart desires. Yeah.
So, oolong is, I would say, another major part, or another category of tea that's like similar to like jasmine is green tea, then you have like oolong, which I would kind of say is a little bit more like flowery as well.
Okay.
Something also tells me that it's like no, that's a different type of tea. Never mind, don't question me on that. But yeah, I would say it's like a different branch of a tea.
Mm.
I find that like if you go to a lot of like Asian restaurants, they tend to kind of
Yes.
provide oolong
Yeah.
as part of like
That's why it tastes so like familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like when I drink this tea, it feels familiar. It feels homey.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's like such an easy sip, where you just want like an easy tea.
Yeah, it's very good. I would say for like. Yeah, if you're just looking for something simple, like maybe you have like an upset stomach and you kind of want it to like
ease down,
or just don't want to upset it too much with like adding different flavors. I feel like this is a good, simple kind of tea.
Is there caffeine in it?
Considering that it is oolong and green tea, probably like a small amount.
Okay. This could be like a wind down tea even.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I've had it. It's good for like dinner time, I would
yeah,
say too.
in the evening, just before bed, just sort of like, easing you into your bedtime routine.
Okay, now I'm going to check back my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything. So here's a little, so it's classified as an oolong tea. The taste, people have described it to be kind of like floral, which I
can see that.
I've kind of seen that, and I think that comes more from the jasmine aspect of it.
Yeah, like I don't taste the floral, but I can, like, it's the smell maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So floral, some people describe it as being sweet, crisp. Not sure what they mean by that in this
Crisp
case.
I can see because it's so light that it's like crisp.
Perfect.
It makes sense to me.
It's giving me tea.
It's giving tea, like hot water.
It's funny that you mentioned that because the next word is clean.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe that's why the bag smells dirty.
Oh, there you go.
Because once you put it on the one, it's all
It's
clean.
clean.
It's washed up all its dirty essence. Soft with earthy undertones. Again, why it smells like dirt. Then, yeah. Now, another thing I should probably mention is, because I mentioned it in the first episode with Ethan, did you know that a lot of teas have a certain kind of like temperature at which they're best to be served at?
Really?
Yeah.
So you can't have tea when it's like, some teas are not good when it's piping hot.
Yeah. So like, for example, black tea is great when it's like boiled.
Oh, okay.
So obviously, like, in order to have tea, the water needs to be hot, right? So
Yeah.
you're gonna boil it, but it's hard to kind of tell how long is it supposed to be until it reaches like set temperature without a thermometer. But in this case, I can't say if this is the temperature for oolong tea or if it's for green tea. But at least some places will provide you how to do the proper brewing technique for certain teas. So I'll just read what specialty says about this. For this green oolong jasmine with flowers tea, they suggest that you bring the water to a boil, so that's like 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Celsius, by the way, just in case we have any American listeners and they're like, what the hell does he mean by 100 degrees? Is it 100 degrees Fahrenheit? Because clearly that's cold.
Yeah.
But Celsius, guys, we're Canadians, we talk Celsius. Yeah, you boil it, and then it says to cool it down for 2 minutes. So maybe that would bring it down to what, maybe like 90 degrees?
Yeah.
Give or take, I would say 2 minutes.
Which I appreciate because I can't take like scalding hot tea. I always have to have my tea like, cool down for a little bit. So that's good.
Yeah.
This is a good pairing for me.
So that's good. And then, yeah, so some teas will be like, let's say 90 degrees, others would be 110. I remember I used to have like this one kettle, I think it was like Cuisinart. Cuisinart. And they had like the little buttons that would tell you which, if depending on what tea you're drinking, like what the temperature would like.
That's fancy.
Yeah.
That's a fancy.
And then she broke. I was so sad. Now
you need a new one.
Now we do things old school by the pot. Grab the saucepan, throw in some water, wait until it starts bubbling. Yeah, and then I don't think I mentioned this in the last episode, but here's another fun fact. Before you drink a cup of tea, you should always wash it. Do you know what that means?
No.
So basically, you add a little bit of water into the tea, like swirl it around.
Yeah. And
then drain that water, because essentially what it does, it's supposed to activate the tea. So by the time you actually start drinking it, you get like the full, I guess, experience.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't dilute the taste of the tea if you wash it.
No, it's obviously don't fill a cup up and then wash it and then throw it out.
Yeah.
But like basically do enough where I guess like the water is kind of covering like leaves.
Like rinsing it out.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
you would like swirl it in your cup or a teapot, whatever you have, and then like you just pour out the amount of water. Like I wouldn't even say like maybe half an inch or even a quarter inch of water, depending on how much like tea is in the pot. And then yeah.
Do you do that for all teas? Interesting. I've been doing tea wrong all this time.
I don't remember. I feel like someone had told me this, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was like at a tea store, and I was just like, oh, interesting. But yeah, if you ever go to like live demonstrations, you kind of see them do that, where they'll like pour it, like swish it a bit, and then, like throw it out and then pour some more.
Is that for loose leaf or is that for like bag tea?
I want to say it's more loose leaf.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't even do it for bag tea as well.
Especially if it's going to enhance the flavors.
Yeah.
Like
it's supposed to like bring out the flavors some more, right?
Yeah.
I guess because like if you don't do it prior to, then you have to wait for like, I think the purpose of it is because it causes like a delayed effect, if that makes sense. So.
I'm finding myself drinking it throughout as we're talking, which is good because that's what I mean. It's like such an easy, clean drink. And it's like the flavors are so soft. It's basically hot water.
Yeah.
To me, right? Are you getting that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like I feel like anytime that I drink like even oolong or anything jasmine really, I find that it's like pretty like soft, and that's why, like I said, I think a lot of Asian restaurants, they tend to, mostly Chinese, I'll say, I can't say all Asian restaurants because then you have Vietnamese, you have Japanese,
Korean, yeah.
But most Chinese restaurants, they tend to have some kind of variation of like either oolong or jasmine, because it's supposed to kind of help with like the digestion.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of the tea tasting. Now, let's get a little bit into the tea history of this. Now, this one was like a little bit of a doozy, just because, just because it's like green, like it's kind of like essentially two types of teas blended together, so it's like a blended tea.
Yes.
So it's kind of hard to just find history on that, but I did manage to find a little bit, so hopefully the sources that I pulled this from is not lying to me and I'm not just making shit up. But it seems like it's pretty on par, like they're pretty like standard, so I'll tell you. So the tea, or like the concept of the tea, originated from China, a particular part called, okay, I'm gonna butcher this, I'm so sorry.
Try it.
Guanzi, not Guangzhou, but it's Guan and then Xi, Guanzi.
Sounds right.
So Guanzi, Hengxian? You know what? Yeah. It's. I'll spell it out for everyone, and please correct me if I'm mispronouncing it, because I really should have looked into how this is pronounced. Oh, so bad. So it's GuanxiHenGxian. So Guangxi Hengxian.
That sounded more legit the second time around.
Yeah, let's hope that that's what it was. Again, I apologize for mispronouncing it. But basically, this from this website called Tea Drop, that's like, I feel like had the best kind of description of what I could say. They said that it combines jasmine tea pods, or like tea leaves, with their oolong tea, and then it's processed through multiple scenting crafts, and then, you know what, why don't I just read it? It's easier as opposed to me like just
summarizing it on the spot.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so anyways, so I'm going to try to read this as nice and professional as possible. Combining the most beautiful fresh jasmine pods and tea from the best growing regions, our Jasmine Oolong Tea is processed through multiple scenting crafts. The jasmine hails from Hengxian, Guangxi, and the oolong is from Anxi, Fujian. Okay, all right, so that's the part that I missed. So yes, so the tea comes from Guangxi and Hengxian, like I guess 2 regions of China.
Yeah.
And then the oolong is processed, or rather brought from Fujian. Anxi, Fujian. So yeah. Anxi is known as the capital of tea in Fujian, with an environment perfect for tea and a history of tea production that stretches over 1,000 years. So, fun fact. The jasmine, on the other hand, comes from the city of Chinese jasmine, Hengxian, in Guangxi. Oh my god. Okay. It's renowned for both quality and yield. The tea combines these 2 beautiful ingredients and is prepared using ancient methods, where the tea absorbs the fragrance of the jasmine flower during the baking process, so no chemical additives are necessary.
Ooh.
So it's all
organic
and organic.
Okay. Healthy.
Another source, this is from Hatbala, says that the jasmine oolong follows the same process as the green jasmine tea, except that it requires more jasmine and more blending cycles just to kind of extract more of that like jasmine
taste.
Yeah. They say a total of 2 kilograms of jasmine blossoms are used for each kilogram of tea.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so you're basically doubling the amount of jasmine.
We're drinking flowers.
We are. But I should emphasize that, you know, in reading this, it's just possible that just might be how they make their tea. Because again, I got this from like different, I find, and I feel like this might be the case as I keep doing like more episodes, when you try to locate these kinds of like tea blends, or even like just say the history on the tea, if it's not about the main category like oolong, green tea, black tea, like those,
yeah,
you will only tend to find the history off of like pages of tea stores or like tea sellers. So sometimes it's hard to really determine if what they're saying is actually the history of the tea, or if it's more like how they
create the tea, or where they source the tea. Yeah.
So that's why, like, for the most part, I think like this is like the main history of it, because like that's what I've seen off a few sources.
Yeah.
But again, like this other one where I was talking about, like, you know, they add more jasmine, like it's hard to fully say if that's the case, because I didn't really see that anywhere else. But anyways,
interesting.
Here's another little fun fact, because you know, we're all about fun facts.
We love fun facts.
So some studies have said that this tea is good for normalizing blood sugar, which I can see that, decreasing a risk of type 2 diabetes, preventing certain types of tumors, reducing a risk of heart disease. They contain anti-inflammatory properties, and they improve skin health.
Drink some more. I'll do anything for skin health.
So To some extent, I do believe these things because I know that tea is very affiliated with a lot of good, like, health benefits,
Yeah.
like, especially, like, antioxidants.
Mm-hmm.
But,
But that's cool about, like, the glucose levels and diabetes and stuff, like...
I mean, it kind of, again, thinking about it, like, tea is essentially water.
Yeah.
So I feel like that does help because you're, like, cycling out the blood.
Water and leaves. Like, it's like nature in a cup.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So, you know, we'll leave this part for last, and it's more about telling the audience who you are.
Me on the spot?
Yes.
Where do I begin?
So, so you did mention we work together, and yeah, let's start from there. You don't have to tell me about, like, work. It's more like, tell me anything else.
Yeah, so I love to travel. I'm huge into shopping and fashion and TV and movies. Music. That's one of the things that you and I had bonded on.
I know.
Right?
So many things.
So many things. I have a dog who is my world, and that's my life.
Okay. So let's start with a few things that I have. So traveling, where would you say was your favorite place to visit?
I haven't traveled a lot. I still want to put a lot of things on my travel list, but so far Japan by far has surpassed so many of the other places I've visited so far, because there's always something for someone in Japan.
Okay.
And their food and their culture is phenomenal. And I think, like, the one thing about their culture that I love the most is that they're so considerate. So, I mean, I talked about how I love shopping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if it's common, but, like, if you're trying on clothes in the fitting room and you're, like, you know, especially if it's, like, a white or, like, lighter colored shirt or whatever, in Japan, they have, like, these little mesh nets that you can put over your head or your face so that when you're trying on clothes, you're not getting, like, your makeup smudged onto like the clothes and stuff.
Okay.
That's like a girl thing. Another girl thing that I've noticed too is that, like, Japan will have specific little baskets at their tables to have the girls put their purses in, which I appreciate.
It's funny that it's on the table too because, okay, so maybe, like, I don't know if this is, like, a thing in other cultures, but in my family, and I can't even say if it's in my culture because I just know my mom does it, and I forgot who she said told her this, but it's considered bad luck if you put your purse on the floor.
I'm so guilty of that all the time.
They say it's bad luck because it essentially, I think the story is by leaving it on the floor, it's kind of like representing lost finance. So, like, it's, you know how, like, yeah, basically it's, like, supposed to kind of say, like, because you're leaving it on the floor, it's bad luck that you're going to end up losing money.
Oh my gosh. So where are you supposed to put it? On the table? On the chair?
Anywhere but the floor.
Oh, snap.
So, like, on the table, on a chair.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's, so the way my old house used to be, there used to be, like, a staircase, like, right in the center of, like, the entrance. So sometimes my mom would put it there.
Yeah.
So I guess that's fine because it's not technically the floor.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
It's elevated.
It's elevated. So basically anything that's not the floor.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of like those old wives' tales that everybody always says, like, oh, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that, otherwise this will happen. Yeah. So interesting.
It's like, another one related to finance is that basically, like, if you can go a whole year without, like let's say you grab a $10, $5, like, just a bill. Like, if you are able to put that in, like, your wallet and sustain that for the whole year without, like, ever using it or, like, switching it, like, you know, basically just leaving it in your wallet for a whole year, it's supposed to, like, bring good luck again, signifying, like, riches.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In my culture, which is from the Philippines, your very first paycheck, you're supposed to kind of pay it forward, and, like, you're supposed to take out your whole family for dinner. That's what they're supposed to do on, like, their very first paycheck.
Interesting.
Yes.
My first paycheck was spent on a watch.
Did you spend your entire paycheck?
No, I think it was like maybe half.
Okay, you're responsible.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit.
Well, I kind of needed the watch. It was, I used to work retail, and like they didn't allow you to have your phone. So how the hell were you supposed to know when you need to take your break?
It was a necessity.
It was a necessity at that time. Everybody would come to me like, "Do you know what time it is?" And I'm like,
Yes, I
bitch."
do. I just spent half my paycheck on this watch. Put it to good use.
I even like engraved because it was a diesel. No, is that what it is? Oh my god, I don't remember the name of the store. Anyways, I want to say it's diesel. Regardless, you can engrave like something in the back. I engraved how much I got paid. I put like whatever minimum wage was at that time. So it was like $14 the hour.
What a random engravement.
It was iconic. I loved it. I have to thank my cousin for that.
Do you still have your watch?
It's in Ontario.
Oh.
I don't have it with me now. But I have it. It's just not with me now.
I can't believe you have a watch that says $14 an hour on the back of it.
I will take a picture next time I'm in town.
Iconic.
Okay, so yes, that was. What about? Actually, do you know the premise of like why I call this Misadventures with Tea?
Why?
Okay, so it's funny. So far, it seems to be a running theme that like in every episode, it happens. But basically, the reason I call this Misadventures with Tea is because I had a thought of like, oh, how can we think of something comedic happening, or not comedic, but something that's like unfortunate that happens related to tea. Earlier in this episode, I fucking did a spit while drinking tea because my ass wanted to do an ASMR segment. So
And you choked.
I choked hard. So yeah, that's why we call it Misadventures with Tea.
Interesting. Because it's so funny. Like, tea is usually like, you would associate it with like, you know, fancy society. Like, I think of like the British royalty or whatever, like sitting around having tea. But I loved like the, I don't know, just juxtaposition of like the misadventures, like the shit that goes wrong. That's not as polished or whatever. And we love that.
Yeah. So you know, we want to explore that side of tea. But yeah, no. So that's why I called it that. For those of you that don't know, because you can't see it, I was drinking my loose leaf tea, and I have tea bags here, but I told Holly, I'm like, I'm not that kind of person. I'm like, I'm just gonna pour it in my cup and like whatever.
We're low key, low maintenance.
Exactly. Well, one of the leaves just went in my mouth. So yeah.
That's a good question. Okay, so because that happened to me too, and I found myself like chewing on the leaf. Are you like, is that okay? Can you eat the leaves?
I feel like, to be honest, I wouldn't know. I never really thought about it. I feel like it shouldn't be bad. I mean, like you're eating, like think of it like lettuce is technically.
I was gonna say it's kind of like salad. Like
I just feel like it'll probably be very bitter.
Yeah.
So probably, and okay, think about it. Okay, we're gonna get logical in this bitch.
Okay.
If you really think about it, tea leaves, they need to be quote unquote washed to kind of bring out the essence of it. Which means they're okay to drink, right? If it was considered dirty or bad, or like, you know, you need to not drink it, then they wouldn't be advertising tea. You know what I mean? If it's like the same concept as like like lettuce.
Yeah.
So I think it should be fine if you eat. I just feel like most people don't because it's very bitter.
Yeah, and you're kind of like not expecting it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like you're sipping and all of a sudden you're choking on a leaf.
Yeah. So I feel like it's fine, but I don't know. I guess that would be something I have to look into. On the next episode.
On the next episode of Misadventures with Tea.
We find ourselves. But yeah, no, I think should be okay. Oh my god, actually, before we started recording, I was actually listening to Selena.
Our girl.
Our girl Selena.
That's when I knew. I was like, I like him. He's cool. Like, we talked, I'm like, because I mean, people know who Selena is.
Not everybody.
But not everybody knows, like, you know, her full, like, album of songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not well immersed in her, like, music.
Right.
Which is even similar with Aaliyah.
Yes.
Which is another one we bonded
Another
over.
thing that we bonded over with. Like, man, the good ones die young, man.
Oh, I know. Tragic.
I know. So sad.
Okay. Well, no worries. We are always here, you know.
Like, we're alive?
Yes. Yes. So.
You're trying to segue that.
Trying to segue, and then it just. I don't know where I was going with this. Anyways, okay, that's it. Okay, so we have like a few more minutes, but I feel like anything else you want to share with us? Any like special interests, projects? You know, I mean, this is a great time to promote yourself. Self-promotion.
Oh my god, I wish I had something fun to promote.
Honestly, it's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't. I just want to give this time, you know, like it's always good for my guests. Kind of like just tell us a little bit about yourself, and if you have anything to promote, by all means, because I know some people have like really special projects that they're doing on the side, so it's kind of like, yeah, if you have it, like, why not?
I would love to. You know, the one thing that I appreciate about you is that, like, you've been talking about this podcast for a long time, and I'm so glad that it's like finally come and like we're recording and everything. This is a huge step for you.
Thank you.
And the one thing that I like appreciate is you being so committed and like goal focused, and like having my conversations with you on our walks to grab my water. It's like, I should really step up my game. I need to be like you. I need to be organized. I need to like have some goals set, and then, you know, put up some milestones. Otherwise, it's just going to be, you know, be sitting in the back of my brain. And so hopefully one day, like, I would have a fun little thing to promote, but yeah, it'd be good.
I'm sure you will one day. No worries. One day could be like tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
But yeah, no, I just feel like, okay, for the people who've known me, they've known that this has been something that I've been trying to do for the longest of time.
Yes.
And God knows I set it on the back burner for quite some time. We're not going to go into logistics. We're not going to talk about and specify how long it was, 5 years. But, you know, yeah, I was just like, I need to do it. I need to stop with all these excuses. And we just got to just do it, as the Nike slogan goes to say.
Exactly. Stay committed, stay focused, like, no more excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this done. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so yes, we're a podcast about tea and the juxtaposition of, you know, the unfortunate aspects of tea.
Which is bound to happen.
Bound to happen.
You're mixing hot water,
You burn your hand.
people, and like leaves.
And leaves, you know?
And leaves.
But yes, thank you, Holly, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. And, you know, I would love to have you back again in the future.
Yes.
It could be the near future, it could be late in the year. I mean, late in the year, we're already in October, God.
I know.
But yeah, it could be later in the season. There's no season in this, why am I saying this? At some point, let's put it like that.
Into the new year,
Into
2025.
2025.
That
new
sounds
year,
crazy.
New
2025.
Us, new podcast.
Yes.
There's going to be a huge revamp. I'm kidding. I just started. Why am I going to revamp this? But yes. Yes, thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to listen to all the other episodes coming up. I enjoyed listening to the ones that have already been out, and I can't wait for the rest.
Yes, it'll be lots of fun. Not fun on my part because I got to do editing, but it will be fun.
It'll be worth it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.